It was just National Coach Bill Zadick prior to the weigh-ins for the men's freestyle here at the Olympic Qualifier in Frisco, Texas. 4 guys going today. Talk about how the preparation went for these athletes and their expectations for tomorrow's competition.
Yeah, so Pan American Olympic Qualifier, obviously a huge event. We have 4 weight classes to get qualified for the Olympic Games, and so it falls at a good time with regard to periodization and moving into our trials. We're about 6-7 weeks away. So training-wise, I think these guys have been feeling really good, had a good winter tour schedule, and have competed well. So now it's about getting these weight classes qualified. So very important, huge deal leading into our trials in Iowa City in April. To have these 4 weights really simplifies our ability to focus on preparing them the best we can for Rio. So yeah, huge importance, major significance for this weekend's competition.
Now obviously it's a small tournament, but there's no room for error. You got to make the finals, and you might have tough guys in your half bracket, right?
Yes. So to qualify the weight class, you have to make it to the finals. It will be, Pan American is only the Western Hemisphere, so it will be a smaller bracket. The last week's championships, the brackets were about 10 to 12. The biggest bracket was 86 kilo, had 12 athletes. So that means we could have probably 3 matches to win the tournament. But in some cases it could be 4, depending on what number you draw, your draw number. But of course, Cuba's really strong. They have also nobody qualified for the Olympic Games, so Venezuela's really strong. They have several guys in their squad. Canada, of course, is always really strong. And then there's obviously the individuals from other countries. But we got to come to wrestle. We got to come to wrestle. Everybody. Being the Olympics are in Brazil, they're in the Western Hemisphere. All the South American countries, all the North American countries, we're gearing up for this to make a big show in Rio. And this is a huge step, so we got to come with our A game on. We got to come ready to wrestle and, ready to win the tournament. And then, of course, we'll have the weights qualified.
So we went with our guys, our number ones from last year. Obviously, Tervel couldn't go to the Worlds, but he won as our number 1 guy and won our trials. And that decision, was it just based on the fact that these guys had earned it, but also that, their experience and preparation will help them get this done?
Yeah, so the consideration was made by the national staff and Bruce and everybody that had input that it makes the most sense to have our number 1 guy who's, in the current rankings from last year's world team, represent our team, to give that individual, we felt like has earned the right to give them first crack at qualifying the weight class. So Tony Ramos at 57 kilo, Brent Metcalf at 65, Jake Herbert at 86, and of course Tervel, who won the trials but didn't wrestle at the Worlds due to injury, is back, is ready, has wrestled well overseas already this year in Paris. So we're going to give those guys first crack to get this qualified. Then the next qualifier, of course, will be in Mongolia in the end of April. So that will be basically 2 weeks after our Olympic trials. So we feel like at that point we will probably have our Olympian, whoever makes the Olympic team, still not the Olympian until we get the weight class qualified. Most likely we'll look at having that individual represent in Mongolia. But the goal for the weekend is that we don't have to go to Mongolia.
Right.
So right now we're looking at, we have 4 quality competitors. They're going to face a quality field, so we got to be ready to wrestle and just be proactive about getting out there and wrestling where they belong, wrestling to where their style is, and wrestling into their strengths. And so if we do that, we feel like we have a very good chance to accomplish what we want to this weekend.
As a small tournament, you got to be ready right off the bat. I mean, is that part of getting a good warm-up? Is it just mental preparation? Sure. You can't be slow. You can't be sluggish.
No, right? With a smaller bracket, there's no warm-up matches. Everyone is... you got to look at it this way. Every match that you win is the qualification match, right?
Right.
And then you take that perspective you win the first one, and you take it into the next one until you get the gold medal. But these guys are professionals at this level, and maybe we're not making the millions of dollars yet, but no doubt we conduct ourselves with the same professionalism as anybody else, and making weight correctly, having your post-weigh-in protocol down pat, where you eat right, you do some movement to push that nutrition into your body, give yourself the best chance to recover and feel strong and ready. So when you step on the mat, you represent yourself in the same way that you're training every single day. So you feel great, you look great, and you perform at the highest of your ability. So we're expecting that from them today, and leading up to this event, we've seen that. So we're confident, but we're still taking nothing for granted and going out there to get the job done.
Outstanding. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.